Hello, everybody, and welcome back to mufcMPB here on YouTube. My name is Brooks, and of course, today is Saturday, the 6th of April, one day before Manchester United's home game against Liverpool, which 100% after the loss against Chelsea is a must-win. And I do just want to start off by saying it definitely wasn't a pen. It 100% wasn't a penalty against Diogo Dalot, and there is a case to say it probably wasn't a penalty against Anthony as well. We've been robbed. I don't care. We've been robbed. Even Mike Dean came out and said he was surprised when the decision got given. There's not really much else for us to say, or for me to say. Manchester United should have won that game. And even if Cole Palmer got his, late normal goal, still stood, they shouldn't have had the two penalties. What can you say? It's Manchester United, and it's another dubious penalty decision. Are we surprised? No. Am I surprised? No. Am I shocked? No. Am I disappointed? Extremely. But let's hope that we can revisit our form that we showed against Liverpool in the FA Cup fixture and do the same against them at Old Trafford tomorrow. Look, we need to get the win. It's looking... the teams in and around us are doing quite well at the moment. People are catching up. Chelsea are catching up to us, and that's saying something. We need to get that win tomorrow if we really do want a chance of even thinking about qualifying for the Champions League next season. We need to get that win, so hopefully we can. But what I am going to start off with might be a bit of good news to you, might be some disappointing news, and there might be some people out there who don't know anything about Thiago Motta because he is a relatively new manager. Of course, he had an illustrious playing career. I think he won 28 trophies at PSG, Inter Milan, and Barcelona to name. I'm sure he played for more clubs than that, but those were the three big clubs that he played for. So he is a player with a lot of pedigree. He is a player with a lot of top level experience playing under some of the best. He played under Mourinho. He played under someone. I can't remember. It's not Trapattoni. It's an Italian manager when he was playing for Genoa as well. And of course he played at Barcelona and PSG as well. So these are top clubs that he represented, that he was employed by. And you could imagine that a player playing defensive midfield usually is someone with a level head, usually someone who has a good understanding of the game. Look at Michael Carrick, look at Xabi Alonso, look at Pep Guardiola. I'm not saying those two were the same level of manager, but those are managers that show a good understanding of the game through their tactics and through the way their team plays. Thiago Motta would probably have been in the category of one of those defensive midfielders in his time that was underrated, underappreciated, and he went under the radar a lot. Yes, he was playing for these magnificent teams, but he wasn't someone that would be the first out of your mouth when you're talking about Barcelona or that Inter Milan team. You talk about Schneider, Milito, you talk about Samuel, you talk about Cesar. Not many people will talk about Thiago Motta. But this is someone who we're going to talk about in this episode. Reported by Alfredo Padula, Manchester United are considering Bologna manager Thiago Motta. Juventus have him as their first choice manager target. Now, if you don't know anything about Thiago Motta in his managerial reign, he's a relatively new manager. I believe Bologna is his first professional, top flight job. I've watched a few of their games. I've read up a little bit on his types of tactics. He did actually publish something in which he singled out Marcelo Bielsa and who was the other manager? Cannot remember the other manager, but he singled out their tactics. One was defensively, and one was what their team did defensively. And something which he wrote about, I guess his thesis was, you might have heard about this, it might have come across on Twitter a few years ago as a bit of a ludicrous, he's just trying to be different, but it's a 2-7-2 formation in which the goalkeeper is the first midfielder, and it's not a 2-7-2, it's a 2-7-2, so it goes from left to right or right to left. It relies on field tilt, which is what side of the pitch the play gets put down, essentially. So, for example, Chelsea's field tilt at the moment will be heavily on Cole Palmer's side, which is the right, because that's where they're most dangerous, that's where they create the most opportunities, and that's where a lot of their goals and big opportunities are coming from, down the right-hand side. So their field tilt against Manchester United at one point in the match was 45% on the right, which is Cole Palmer's side, and then it was split relatively evenly 22 or something percent, and then 20 something other percent through the middle and the left. But with Thiago Motta, you have someone there who, look, instantly I'm thinking of Andre Onana, someone who could benefit massively from a system like Thiago Motta, someone who will be involved in the play a lot with their feet, because Motta believes that goalkeepers are the 11th outfield player on the pitch. You just have to take a look at the profiles of our players. And this isn't something that I'm just doing now. This is something that higher ups at Manchester United would be doing. Look, you don't just go and get any manager from anywhere because they're doing it right. You have to get someone who come in and first and foremost make the best out of what's already there. Players like Diogo Dalot, Lissandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Kobbie Mainoo, Rasmus Højlund, Andre Onana, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, even Marcus Rashford playing as a striker. I think we have a lot of player profiles here that would fit the mold that Thiago Motta has already been using in his career so far. Plus, we've been heavily linked with Xerxes, former Bayern Munich player, came through the ranks there and is now playing at Bologna. Even spread of goals and assists. He is pivotal in their attacking system. I think. Look, I watched a video yesterday or a few days ago about Motta, and I'm gonna put it on my Twitter, so I'm not gonna put it through here. That wouldn't be right. I'm gonna put it through Twitter. I'm gonna tweet it out on Twitter, make some comments on it. So make sure you are following me. My link will be in the description down below, and you'll be able to see and understand a little bit more about what Motta does, because this 2-7-2 formation, the first I've ever heard of it. It's the first a lot of people would have heard of it, but it's something that's working. No, he's not top of the league with Bologna. That's not their objective. No, he's not, he hasn't lost this season like Xabi Alonso. That's not their objective. He's revolutionizing the way Italian football is played. He's bringing in something completely different, I guess, against the meta that has been used in Italian football for so long. And it would be nice to see him come to the Premier League. If he was to come to the Premier League, you could see him replacing, not now, but you could see him replacing a manager like Pep Guardiola, because he does have unique tactics that could shake up the league, that could put him as the first manager with the best squad in the league to implement his style and just dominate again. Look at what Pep Guardiola did when he came in. He completely changed what the Premier League was all about. Even 10 years ago, the Premier League looked a lot more like what Chelsea versus Manchester United looked like. Now it's a lot more tactical. Now it's relatively slower. There's a lot more higher XG and all of that stuff. That I would imagine is focused on a lot more. Whereas when Sir Alex Ferguson was here, you try and tell him about XG, he'd tell you to go away, he'd tell you to leave the office, with a lot more expletives. It was more about we're just outscoring the opponent, but it's not like that today. I'm not saying Thiago Motta's football is like that, but it almost is going back to that. It's changing. It's changing what's already here. And I wouldn't be opposed to having him as Manchester United manager. I would be opposed to having him as Manchester United manager right now. I feel like, no, he hasn't won it well. I know he hasn't won any trophies in his managerial career. He hasn't really pushed the title. He hasn't won anything. And my thing is, look, I know you might say, but Ten Hag was at Ajax. It isn't, nearly at the level of a Premier League, let alone Manchester United. But he'd experienced winning trophies. He'd experienced a long run in the Champions League. He'd experienced title races, domestic cups. He'd experienced winning stuff back to back. Whether or not it was in the Premier League or it was in the Eredivisie, those are experiences that I think, especially a manager coming into Manchester United, should have. And that's why I think if we are looking at Thiago Motta, I don't think it would be an option for now. I think you'd let him get his step-in club like a Juventus, because Juventus, according to these reports, Juventus have made him their first choice manager target. But on the flip side, you could say, but Juventus are looking at him. Juventus are willing to take him in right now. Surely that should mean, Manchester United should be probably considering him this summer as well, because he is getting attraction from top European clubs. I'll leave that up to you. If you know anything about Thiago Motta, though, make sure you do let me know in the comment section down below whether you would like him to come in as Manchester United manager this summer, or would you like to hold off on him and possibly go for someone else, or, just give Erik ten Hag the full year next season and see what happens. But moving on, Moving on to tomorrow's fixture. Some injury news, or I guess not injury news, but letting you know who's available. Apparently, according to Insider United, Willy Cambuala and Harry Maguire are the only centre-backs that are fit to start for Manchester United against Liverpool tomorrow. Not too concerned about Harry Maguire. He's been playing well this season. He had a good game against Chelsea. Sorry, I'm getting like the worst body pains. The worst body pains. I think it's a sign for tomorrow. But I'm more worried about Willy Cambuala. I'm not worried about him because I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's good enough. It's not as if he's had no minutes. He's had minutes and he will be match fit. I just don't know what type of a Manchester United is going to turn up tomorrow. It could be a type of Manchester United where someone coming in would feel fit and in place, and, you know, because his teammates are performing well around him, it gives him the confidence. Whereas it could be a Manchester United where, you know, you're looking at players kicking the ball off the pitch. We're not keeping the ball on the ground. As soon as we get the ball, it's just lumped up front. It's a Manchester United side that lacks cohesiveness and energy. I'd be worried for him, especially if that's the team that shows up tomorrow at Old Trafford, because if everybody else around you isn't, you know, showing confidence, it's going to be more difficult for him to show confidence. I'm so sorry. I don't know why this webcam is not. There we go. It's a little bit more focused. But I don't know. Willy Cambuala is showing signs that he could be a Manchester United centre-back, you know, in the future. But putting him in, you know what? I'm glad that it's at Old Trafford. I'll say that now, because if it was at Anfield, I'd worry a lot more for him. But I'm glad it's at Old Trafford because we should have Dalot and Wan-Bissaka fit unless something happens between now and tomorrow. Harry Maguire, no problems with him. So really and truly, just taking out one centre back shouldn't be as drastic as, you know, a Wan-Bissaka being unfit as well as a Maguire. Now you're looking at, should we play Casemiro at centre back? Hopefully we don't. Hopefully that's not the option tomorrow, that, you know, we're left with a Casemiro at centre back, and hopefully Willy Cambuala comes in and just carries on at how he's been performing, because he has been showing signs and he has been playing well and he has taken his youth form into the senior side. So I'm happy about that. And one thing I am also happy about, I'm trying to get these segues as smooth as possible, is Garnacho. And Nani is also happy about him. So we're going to read through a couple quotes from Nani. When I watch Garnacho, he reminds me of myself. He even has the number 17 shirt, the same number I wore. When he changed to that number this season, he started scoring some goals. So that's been good for him. And I believe now Garnacho's on 9 for the season, not just in the Prem, but in all competitions, as well as 4 assists. So 13 goal contributions altogether. Of course, he got a brace. A very, very well taken brace, by the way, against Chelsea, showing signs of maturity. Maybe last season or the season before, his second goal, which was the early header, I guess on the end of Anthony's pass, he might have pulled out of it a couple of seasons ago, but now he's here. He's ready to put his head on the line, where he might get hurt, he might pick up an injury, but he's more focused on scoring the goal that puts Manchester United ahead. And his first goal, anticipation, and of course his blistering speed and a cool finish. At one point I thought he might have lost it here, or he might be he's getting chased down. I think it might have been by Disasi, who isn't a small, slow centre back, by the way. I thought he might have lost it, but he kept composed, and of course he found the back of the net. But Nani heaping praise on him, I think, is very, very good for. It will be a confidence boost for Garnacho. It might show a lot of Manchester United fans who have kind of been slating Garnacho that he hasn't been playing as bad as you think, and a lot of the comments and abuse that comes out is reactionary and a lot of it unnecessary. But another quote from Nani here. Another quote from Nani here does say, he's not afraid of taking defenders on, making the runs, making assists. He's a very good player. He has so much time to improve his game and get stronger. He will be fantastic in the future. And 100%. Hopefully he'll be fantastic for Manchester United and not Real Madrid, because you can just feel it in that. Your gut feeling is that, you know, in 2 or 3 years, when Real Madrid have got every single one of their 128 reports on Garnacho, they've been looking at his stats, his performances, his personality. They've been sending him a couple texts. You know, you're gonna have Vinny Jr. commenting on his posts. It happens. Hopefully we don't lose him. Hopefully we don't lose him to Real Madrid. Hopefully he carries on performing for Manchester United and improving. And I want to see... There's about 3 or 4 players who I really, really want to see Manchester United build their team around come 4 or 5 years. You've got Mainu, Garnacho. You've got Mason Mount. Don't shoot me. There's quality there. You're looking at a Champions League winner. And Dan Gore being one of them as well. I would say 5 as well. Shea Lacey. If you don't know about Shea Lacey, get to know about Shea Lacey. But Garnacho was in that. He's one of the players that a lot of Manchester United fans want to stay for a very, very long time. And Nani obviously being one of them. And the last comment which I will be going over from Nani is he is a very exciting player, and I hope in the future he can win titles with the club and help it to be successful again. I agree, Nani. But one more person who might be helping Manchester United to be successful again is Jason Wilcox. Time Sport report there is hope within Manchester United that deals for Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox will get done, but the protracted negotiations are a source of irritation within the club. Now I'm a bit confused about this because I read yesterday night or today that the current Southampton manager Russell Martin is saying that Jason Wilcox will leave and he will go to Manchester United. So I'm guessing this is more aimed at Dan Ashworth in terms of the troubles and trials and tribulations we're having to go through to get him at Manchester United. But from what I know, from what I've read and from what I choose to believe, Jason Wilcox shouldn't really be a problem. So hopefully we get them both in. Hopefully it won't be too much hassle, and hopefully we do it before the summer transfer window starts, because that is the thing we need most. But of course, if you do want to be kept up, if you do want to keep up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, as well as the gossip, inside and outside information, make sure to follow at mufcMPB. The link you can see on your screen right here, the Twitter handle or the X handle. Make sure you do follow myself and the other mufcMPB presenters. Our links will be in the description down below. Make sure you subscribe as well, by the way, guys. I haven't been saying this a lot recently, but make sure you subscribe and leave a like on the video down below. Make sure you do comment. Make sure you do as well in the comment section down below. Do you like Garnacho? Do you want him to stay? Do you want Thiago Motta? Do you want Erik ten Hag to stay on? Or what other manager do you want? Let us know in the comment section down below. It's always nice to see what you guys have to say. Opinion is everything in football. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with anybody else who talks on this. But let us know. Let us know what you think. But I will see you guys. I'll be back on Wednesday, I believe. Hopefully Manchester United win tomorrow. Look, Manchester United need to pick up a win. It's imperative at this point. Erik ten Hag needs it as much as the players, and the players need it as much as us. But hopefully Manchester United can win tomorrow. I'm going to go for a win because I'm confident and I love Manchester United, and we're going to go for a 2-1. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be end to end, but there won't be so many goals in it. There won't be as many goals as the FA Cup game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Manchester United. Højlund to open the scoring and Anthony to bag the winner, because why not? I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good weekend and goodbye.